For the second one, let's go ahead and put in our flame ends. So on the hierarchy, again, we'll just go create, go down to the particle system, and particle system name, let's just call this one fire ends. And then the position, let's go ahead and remove it over to 0, 0, 0. There we go. So the fire ends, we have a texture for that one with the animation. So we'll go to our flame ends right here, and just drag that one over to your, be sure you have your render rollout open, and we'll just drag it to our material slot right there. Same thing for the sort mode, we want to have this one to do the by distance. And then when it comes to the texture sheet animation, be sure you've checked that one. Remember, this is going to be 8, so we're going to do 1, and then the Y is going to be 8. And then we'll place on the animation, we'll just do single row right there. Cycles for this one is going to be same as the other one. We'll do, instead of 1, we'll have it set for 2. That way we actually kind of cycle it through a little bit more. Alright, so with those, let's go ahead and close those two up then. And then we go back up to the top, we're going to start working our way through this. The duration for the last one, we had the other one set to 2, and we want this one to be the same type, so we're going to set this one for 2 as well. There we go. And then for our looping, we'll have it checked on because we want to continue looping through it. Our start lifetime, let's go ahead and change the start lifetime to a random between two constants, and the amount, let's go ahead and just choose, we'll go for about a half second to 3/4 a second, which would be 0.75. Alright, our start speed, let's change this one as well to a 2 constant on there. And the start speed, let's start it with about a 0.3, and then we'll go to about a 0.6. We'll just kind of double the number on that one. Alright, so that's going to be coming off of the flame. If you remember our other one, we had that one at 0.2 and 0.4, so we're going just a little bit above it. We're going 3 and 6. You could do a 0.4 and 6 if you wanted to. For the start size, let's go ahead and make this one random as well between 2 constants. And on the random side of this one, we'll start it off a little bit smaller. We'll say the initial one, we'll try for a 0.5, and let's see what actually just do both 0.5 here. Okay, so we'll do start size on the first one at a 0.25. Oh, actually we actually do a point here. So a 0.25 up to a 0.5, and then on the lifetime when we start working on it, we'll increase the curve and decrease it some more. Alright, so we have those. The next part's going to be our rotation, so we'll do similar like we've done before. We'll do the random between 2 constants, and it'll be 0 to 360, so we'll have it spawning constantly at a different degree all the way around. The start color, we'll go ahead and leave it white for now, but we may need to tint it, just depends on how it looks when we start spawning them all together. Gravity on this one, I'm going to go ahead and set the gravity down a little bit. Setting it down meaning negative, we're going to have it raising upwards. The upward, we'll say for about -1. We'll leave it at 1 for now, and then we'll, with the lifetime, we'll actually cut it off so it stops right about there. Alright, on the space, it's not going to be local, it's going to be world. And then we'll go ahead and leave our particles at 1,000, and if we need to increase it, we can increase it later. For the emission type, we'll go ahead and do about 12. You could do 12 to 20 if you want, or 10 to 20 range. Should be fine. We'll leave it at time. And then for the shape itself, we still have a cone, but we also have the radius amount, very similar to the other one. We want this one at a 0.01. We just want a very small funnel to start with, but we do want to open it up. So we're going to open the angle up. I'm just going to drag this one out. We'll take it out to about 50. Let's see. Yeah, we'll have it out about 50, so there's enough of a back and forth motion to it. Alright. And then the emit from on this one, let's go ahead and do the volume of it. So instead of being that base, we're just going to emit it inside of this area, and then we'll actually have a little bit more emitting spots for it. Oh, let's take where's our height? And drag our length down. There we go. So we'll take our length, let's see, probably let's try a 0.2 or 0.3. Yeah, so we'll go for a 0.2 on the length. That way we have a little bit more space on there. And the volume means it's spawning within the volume of that cone shape right there. Alright, so let's go ahead and go down to our color over lifetime. Remember the color over lifetime, if you click on it, what we're trying to look for here is just to create a color transition from one point to the other, and then a nice gradient to start with. So the gradient points, I'm just going to create a alpha right here up at the top. Remember, just left click on the bar to create a tick for the top of it. And we'll make the starting point, just like we do with the other ones, we'll make it go to 0. So it'll, instead of popping, it'll be a smooth transition in. And then over on the far side, then let's go ahead and make a transition going out over to this side. Let's do right around 75. So I'm going to put location at 75, and then I'm going to go to the far edge and take the alpha down to 0 here. There we go. So now we should have, we'll have that nice little fade out as it goes to the top. Alright, let's go back to here. And then what we could do is add a little bit more color to it. How about we go, it's going to start with this color, but as it goes down to the point, let's actually change it and just have it kind of gradient out to a yellowish tone. So we'll do just a little bit of yellow somewhere around there. Let's kind of just a very soft yellow added to it here. Maybe a little bit more orange. There we go. And my value on that one, and I'm just citing it, so my value is about 255, 243, and 174. Alright, and then we'll finish with a little bit more of a darker color right here. So let's take this color, and let's actually go for more of a red, kind of a darker red tone. Let's see if we can kind of get a nice red. So it's going to go from the white to a bright yellow, and then go off to a dark state. And probably see if we can kind of get a little bit darker there. Yeah, so it gets that little red pop right at the top there. For the value, I'm looking at 105, 57, and 57. Alright, and then I'm going to take this and drag it just a little bit over here. Let's see, if we do a really hard one, really not enough time between yellow and red, so yeah, we'll go for about 75 on that one, and then location on this one, we'll do about a 66. Yeah, so that should look nice. And then the end over on the side, these are just white again. Alright, so that'll be our gradient for the color over lifetime for this one. And then let's go ahead and drop down to our size over lifetime. So at the moment we still have them kind of big because they're just spawning that single size going up randomly. What we want to do is actually take the size itself, and let's take our size and let's drop it down a little ways here. I'm going to take it and drop it down to about let's see, we'll go for right around a 0.5 to 0.55 range. And then let's take the final size all the way down to 0. And then let's put in the center here, let's have a little bit of a peak so that right around, instead of halfway, almost a quarter by it, so we'll do a 0.3, 0.4. Just double click or click and choose your keyframe to add to it. I'm going to make this one grow, so it's going to start at a small point. It's going to start small, grow kind of big, and then go back small again. And then let's go ahead and add on the curve, let's go ahead and just kind of straighten our curve out. And then we'll click on the tangent point there and make a little curve piece for it. And then same thing for here. There we go. So now we have a nice little flame starting. I may even move this all the way to 0.5. There we go. So we have a little piece going from here, it gets larger, and then it just kind of goes to a small piece. Alright. With that one finished, let's go to our rotation over lifetime. And for the rotation over lifetime, let's actually just do the random between two constants. And we'll actually say these can actually rotate quite a bit, so we'll do like a negative 100, and we'll go to a positive 100. There we go. Starting to look like little flames just kind of coming up and going away from it. Alright, so that's going to give us our rotation over lifetime for that one, and kind of sets us up pretty good for all the parts and pieces. The flame speed, we may wind up taking it down just a little bit. It's kind of going, it's still going a little bit high. I'm going to take my start speed and put it down to do a 0.2. Let's see if we do a 0.2 and 0.4, it might move. Yeah, it moves okay, but it does kind of take away from that feeling of fire and the speed of it. So I'll leave it at 0.3 and 0.6 for now. And then once we start to spew it out and we see a whole bunch of them, we can kind of figure out if we need to squash the shape in a little bit more for it. Alright. So we've got our two shapes happening here. The only other part, looking at this one, is that there is quite a bit of a flame coming from here. So if we see it coming too much, we may just take that one down as well. We'll put it into the spawner system and then go from there and then finish off with a little bit more of refining to it.